Hello everyone, I'm the Canadian Gaming Penguin. The Rising event has returned to Final Fantasy XIV starting today, August 27th, 2021, and will continue on until September 9th, 2021. It begins in Ul'dah by the Aetheryte and by speaking with the NPC, Kipi Jaka, as you can see right over here. Now, if you have issues with trying to click through people, hold the X key. That way you won't have to click through other players. The X key by default will hide all their names and be able to show the NPC and whatnot. Anyway, I will be playing through, as per usual, the event itself. It's not a very long one, so let's get to it. Rising calm. Kipi Jaka is looking around in consternation. And you can see here we have a a red moon parasol and a Nimia potpourri as rewards for this event. So anyways, with that said, let's get to it. Hello? Celebrian? What an astonishing coincidence! What do you mean, who am I? I'm Kipi Jaka, reporter for The Raven. You helped me investigate that visitor from another world, remember? Anyway, this is perfect. I could use your assistance with another story. Assuming you have the time, that is. Sure. So here's the thing. Just recently, an unusual visitor cut through Gridania's markets like a scythe, in a frenzy to purchase every Nimia lily available, and I mean all of them. For what purpose, I hear you ask? Well, my friend, I sense the answer to that question will provide the basis for my next scoop, so I did some nosing around. No one I talked to could put a name to our mysterious flower fancier, but by all accounts he and his cargo hold of lilies had departed for Ul'dah. Not wanting the trail to grow cold, I quickly grabbed my quill and notepad and boarded an airship myself. And was quickly reminded of how hard it is to chase a story in unfamiliar territory. You know this town and its people well enough though, don't you? What say you to lending a hand to my investigative efforts? I'd be happy to. With a little squeak in the voice. Wonderful, then we've no time to lose. First things first, we pay a visit to the nearest drinking establishment. The local tavern is always the best place to pick up tidbits of gossip and rumor. Naturally, and that also means we get to see an old friend that we haven't seen in some time. And I'm of course referring to Momody, who is over here. Momody. Hello. My, those were some serious faces. What can I do for you this fine evening? Well, we have some questions. This is her. Oh, plain reporter, are you? Are we? Sounds like fun. Let's hear your questions then. Ahem. We are attempting to track down a particular someone who purchased a suspiciously large number of Nimia lilies in Gridania before transporting them here to Ul'dah. Any idea of who this person might be? We've more than our fair share of traders coming and going, and a large shipment arriving in the city is hardly a noteworthy occurrence. But now that you mention it, I do remember this florid minstrel fella who came in just the other day. Said he'd pulled in from Gridania and needed help hauling a hefty delivery to the Alchemists Guild. He's actually a familiar face in these parts. Never did get his name though, strangely enough. A nameless traveler arriving from Gridania with a sizable cargo to move? That sounds promising. Like I said, it's just a request to move cargo. Before you run off to a possible dead end with the alchemists, I suggest you fish more information inside the quicksand. After all, where else can you find so many gossipy adventurers crammed into one spot? That certainly makes sense. Between the two of us, however, I see no reason why we cannot do both. I shall stay here and interview the clientele while you chase down our other lead at the Alchemists Guild. What do you think? Sure, leave it to me. Then that will be our plan. Once you've spoken with the potion makers, make your way back here and we can discuss any new revelations. Okie dokie. Bye-bye. But before we do that, we're actually going to talk to Momody again. It might be as you already know this, but Severin, the alchemist skill master, can be an uncooperative sort. Probably best that you're the one who's going to talk with him. Especially since I'm an alchemist. Sort of. Kipi Jaga. Asking the right questions is a reporter's most vital skill. We'll soon have these adventurers spilling the stories we need to hear. And with that said, we are going to use the Aetheryte shard to teleport to the Alchemist's Guild rather than trying to run all the way over there. And by run away all over there, I of course mean running all the way up here and over there. Just in case you didn't know that's where it was. Have fun finding it if you've never been over here before. I jest. Severian. Or Severin. Whatever his name is. So boldly do you approach a master of his profession. I warn you, this matter best be deserving of the precious moments you steal away from my unending research. Yeah, heard the tale before. You question me for a tabloid piece? Away with you! I refuse to waste another instant on this trivial nonsense. Just a moment. Perhaps there is a shred of scholarly value to this after all. I vaguely recall the flamboyant character of whom you speak, and his request to process a vast quantity of floral material. 'Tis laughable that it would undertake such a menial chore, of course, so I assigned the task to my subordinates. If you wish to discuss the tedious details, Dietrich is your man. I'll just note that his dialogue is slightly different if you are further into alchemy, which I'm not. On my main character, the dialogue was slightly different, but I also have a level 80 alchemist, so there's that. Anyway, Dietrich. It's not a big deal to change a dialogue. He's just a little more friendly. Why, I should be delighted to assist you. This is regarding that large delivery of Nimia lilies. Yes, the guild did accept a task involving said flowers, as commissioned by a nomadic minstrel gentleman. And though I cannot reveal the nature of what we produced, I can tell you that it shall be distributed amongst the populace as part of the events of the Rising. If you wish to know more, then might I suggest you speak to the gentleman himself? And speaking with Dietrich again, the minstrel's request was not daunting for its complexity, merely for its sheer volume, and we could not rely on, or indeed even expect, the briefest assistance from Master Severin. That's not shocking. Back to the Adventurers Guild. And we need to speak with Kipi Jaka, who's over here. Adventurer, you're back. Did the alchemists offer up any new information? So to summarize, this famously unnamed minstrel of nomadic inclination commissioned the manufacture of some as yet an unknown item to be handed out during the Rising. Oh, I heartily agree that we should speak with him directly, and as luck may have it, I've just discovered that he means to put on a performance at the Ruby Road Exchange. I think it's time for one of my patented on-the-spot interviews, don't you? If we hurry over, we can catch him before he takes the stage. And so that means we need to head over this way to the stage, which is, in fact, over this way. And you can see some of the people with the various parasols, including the new one. Kipi Jaka. That colorful fellow there must be our minstrel. Wandering minstrel. Greetings, sir. I'm terribly sorry to interrupt, but you are the famous wandering minstrel, are you not? I am indeed. And look whom you've brought to see me. Was there aught I might do for you fine people? Hello. I've been following you, to be perfectly honest. I'm curious to learn more about the wagon load of lilies you turned over to the alchemists, not to mention your plan to distribute the results of their work. You followed me? But how did you... I mean, why would you... She's a reporter for the Raven. Ah, a writer for the Raven. That explains much. And did you also learn what I tasked the alchemists to create? Is the coral out of the bag for all to smell? No, we were hoping you might tell us. Good, then my surprise remains unspoiled. The plan, if you must know, is to hand out bundles of potpourri to all and sundry during the, rising. As in, flowers mixed with spices? That aromatic stuff you see in bowls and parlor tables and the like? The very same, except my potpourri will delight the eyes as much as the nose, thanks to the alchemical wizardry infused by my co-conspirators. Yet even without such enhancements, the scent of Nimia lilies is known to promote calm and tranquility. The rising is a time of remembrance, of mourning. It is a time it is a time when sorrow can overwhelm folk who lost friends and loved ones in the seventh umbral calamity. It is my hope that the lily's gentle perfume will afford such burdened souls a modicum of peace during this oft times melancholy memorial. Oh my, what a genuinely lovely idea! Only just this moment we were making arrangements for a showcase of my humble talents, where I shall hand out potpourri bundles to the audience. Again, I am glad we met ere you inadvertently spread word of her little surprise gift. I trust you now have sufficient detail to write your article? Oh yes, I have plenty to work with, thank you. Splendid. Now, since you've joined the inner circle, so to speak, we must have you play a role in the performance. Wait, what? Ha! You needn't fret so. I merely wish for your assistance in passing out potpourri. I can supply the crowd at the show, but it would be most helpful if you might deliver bundles to some other part of town. Oh, we would be happy to, and it could only help me flesh out the story. Let's head back to the quicksand adventure. If we hand out bundles there, then we can be sure to cover folk from every corner of the city. We were low on helping hands, to tell the truth, so this has worked out for the best. Please come and meet me at the Ruby Road Exchange once you've finished with your task. And speaking with the minstrel again, the hour of my performance draws near. Many times have I taken the stage in my life, yet the thrill of anticipatory terror never fails to run through me, as I stammer through that sentence. Speaking with Kipi Jaka. Let's get to work, shall we? Get your potpourri here. Bye-bye. What is it you're giving out there, adventurer? Hello. Ah, I know the scent. Nimia lily, yes? The flower is often placed on the graves of the fallen, a practice with which I am, alas, intimately familiar. Why choose this particular bloom? Well, it was chosen for this reasons. I see. Perhaps the perfume does remind one of the peace of repose, rather than the violence with which took our companions from us. It would seem the minstrel has given the matter some thought. For Cartano veterans such as myself, the season of the rising can be a torment, like the throbbing pain of an old wound. I will keep this bundle close, I think, and breathe in its calm whenever I feel my thoughts turning grim. Ah, yes. I guess I did the salute too because I'm in the immortal flames. Keeping busy there, ain't you, Celebrin? I know it's for the rising and all, but it tickles me to see a hero of your stature handing out presents like a simple errand girl. It's not the first time. I mean, ever since the first time we met, you've always been the type to lend aid where it's needed, and you haven't changed one bit. Makes me happy, it does, not to mention a little misty-eyed. The good you've done for folk will linger on, an unshakable foundation for your future. Keep going the way you're going, my friend, and we'll all be the better for it. Here, why don't you let me have whatever bundles you've got left, and I'll put them together with the ones I took from your reporter friend. If we leave a basket full out on the guild counter, I guarantee they'll hand themselves out before the rising is over. All of a sudden her accent became thicker. Mistress Mobity took a goodly amount off my hands, but I think we've done our fair share of the work. We should go and see the minstrel and let him know we've completed our task. Okie dokie. Bye, Mobity. Bye. And with that said, we will head over this direction to where the minstrel is. And a whole host of other people. Kipi-jaka. I wonder if that potpourri also loosens tongues. It seems everyone who took a bundle had a rising tale to tell, be it a short remembrance or a lingering stroll down memory lane. Wandering minstrel. Hello. The reporter and her most qualified assistant return. The performance went well, I must say. But what of your story research? Were the townsfolk willing to share any moving material? Yes, they were unexpectedly forthcoming. I was regaled with many an anecdote from those who lived through the calamity, and privileged to hear their treasured memories of those who did not. Back when the calamity was poised to strike, I had only just earned my reporter's quill. I was rushing around town, questioning adventurers and taking notes. But as Dalamud descended ever lower, the streets erupted into chaos. It was then that I fled with my younger brother to the border in relative safety. There were a few less prudent friends and colleagues who might still be here if they had done the same. In the years since, the world has risen from the ashes. I've done my best to rise along with it, but there are things I cannot, nay, should not, forget. Such are the thoughts which blossom in my mind when I breathe in that potpourri's perfume. I have enjoyed our collaboration this day, adventurer, and I shall attempt to write a piece that does it justice. What say you to Rising Calm as a title? I like it. How fitting. I look forward to reading it. I too sensed the stirring of a new composition, a hopeful verse dedicated to the continued safe passage of those who yet ascend the path out of catastrophe and despair. Bright light, blinding, and moon. Greetings, warrior of light. You needn't be alarmed. This is the world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A flight of fancy conjured by your weary mind? Perhaps, or perhaps not. What a pleasure it is to welcome you here again, Celebrian, and what a privilege that your chosen trail should run alongside mine for so long. And as you can see here, as I interject in this dialogue, this is the personification of Naoki Yoshida, the director and producer for Final Fantasy XIV, as seen in the game. Anyway, continuing. On a day such as today, I hope you will forgive me a brief bout of nostalgia. It has been an entire decade since I first came to this world. I was a stranger here, a traveler in a troubled land, and the quest for its salvation consumed my every moment. Countless trials were met and overcome, and the world not only survived, it flourished. This victory we owe to those who persevered alongside us, to those who explored and nurtured and loved this realm as much as we. Yes, it is you of whom I speak, of our indomitable adventurers. 10 years is a long time, yes, but for me the number holds no special significance. It is simply a count of the passage of days. Success, however, would not have come without that accumulation of daily effort, and that is what makes it a milestone worth marking. Thank you for staying the course with us these many years. I will keep making plans for this world for the foreseeable future. It has become a part of my life, and to see it grow is an adventure in itself. Rest well, Warrior of Light, for a grand convergence of events approaches. May the road upon which you must embark become the greatest of all journeys. Until we meet again, my friend. Bye-bye. What a moving rendition! And now I really must head home to write that article. You have my gratitude, Celebrian. I would still be floundering in the streets without your assistance. Until we meet again. Bye-bye. A great many lives were lost in the flames of the calamity, not to mention the chaos which followed. Yet it is the survivors who must face the challenges of living in this new era we have salvaged. To you, the champion in the vanguard of our efforts, I dedicate these verses. Scarred by the falling of fiery stars, the land is reborn with new life. God's slayer struck by an echoing roar, heavens ring with the promise of strife. Beast and man both seek freedom or death in bloody inferno untamed. By unbroken hopes from a sky long undimmed shall the darkness of Eld be reclaimed. Our merciless gale on an ending road, if this be the path we are fated, then pray be our dawn in the rift betwixt worlds, our soul's splendid light unabated. I really must apologize for pressing you into service from my potpourri scheme. I tend to consider adventurers as fellow wanderers and call upon the assistance of your kind with little reservation. As for the gifts themselves, there was another reason as to why I chose the Nimia Lily. Traditionally, the bloom is said to represent a prayer for safe passage. The way ahead yet promises more hardship. I wanted, at the very least, to wish you, all of you, the smoothest road for the coming journey. Pretty fireworks. And with that completes the quest, and as I said before, we get the Red Moon Parasol and the Nimia Potpourri. And we also get the achievement, the Great 8. I'm just going to move over here where you can see the fireworks are currently going off, and I'm just going to find myself in my little corner over here. Okay, character. Fashion accessories. There you go. And right clicking that, we can see we now are using the parasol, and you can see part of the Square Enix symbol for the game, which is also supposed to represent a meteor apparently. But anyway, it's a kind of a half moon right now. And then we also have this. I'm just going to remove the parasol first. Right-clicking that again. And let's see if I can be quick about this. Where's my button? There's my button. Pretty! And just because I'm curious if the G pose will... Ha! It will! Yes! Awesome. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna brighten things up here so you have a better view. I mean, it looks pretty without it, but... There we go. Look at that. One more time. There we go. Anyways, that is obviously the event, and it is fairly short. We also have the items in the vendor, which we will now be able to access. I didn't actually check beforehand. There isn't a whole lot to it. There is a lot more Nemia Pokeries for 19 gil each for each of these things. These are all from previous events as well. I'm not going to go through them. They're basically the kind of same thing as this in the sense of how you use it. You can explore what those ones are itself. Sometimes you'll see some of these other ones in other events as well. But this is the new one for the event as well. And then you can see the minstrel over here. Wandering Minstrel. Yarzir survived the calamity and has effected a miraculous rebirth. 'Tis for all who struggle onwards, putting one foot in front of the other as they travel this unfamiliar and oft uneven path, that I dedicated this song of safe passage. And then Kibi Jaka is over here. Adventurer, I must thank you again for helping me delve into the details of the story. You will see, and hopefully read, the full article in The Raven forthwith. And that is it for this event. As I said before, at the beginning of the video, the event began today, August 27th, 2021, and will continue on until September 9th, 2021. Do note the time zone of its completion. And I will also note that there is new short tales available that will be releasing. There will be 5 new ones. I will have that up on the screen just in a second, but as it says here, this will be spoilers to the main scenario quest, so if you haven't done that, you probably don't want to read the short stories yet, which is also why I'm not showing the actual short story web link at the moment. Anyways, that is it for this one. Thanks for watching.